Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Sunday. As you come into the room, this message today, I'm hopping in pretty fast, but I got to give my shout outs. I want to thank God for letting us see another week, another day, another night that wasn't promised to us. We thank God for not making our bed our cooling board last night. We thank God for not making our last night our last night. Also, I want to shout out to our son, Reverend Dr. Brandon A.A.J. Davis, who is now the senior pastor of Grace Horn AME in Toledo, Ohio. So we're thanking God for elevation for him, and I want him to go ahead and preach hard, black man, preach hard. So all you that know the word of prayer this morning, pray for him as he leads his new flock. So also, we want to keep those lifted up that are bereaved this morning. We know that the death angel is still roaming to and fro. And so we just want to thank him for our family circle not being broken. And we want to bless everyone that is going through a sickness, whatever kind of sickness they're going through. We just want to lift you up in prayer, all those that are in the hospital. And good morning, everyone. I see you all on there. And so do me a favor and already share this program. Share this message, because I promise you, just share this message. I have held this. I almost couldn't sleep. I wanted to do it last night, but God said, this is the day that you're going to do it. So I'm going to get started, but go ahead and share this message. So now, I told you all before that God has a great sense of humor, even though we don't always think so. But along with his sense of humor, he will also send you confirmation that it's him speaking to you. And this is what happened to me. So I was listening to a sister preach online early in the week, and when he first gave me this message, and during her intro, she said, think about how you slept last night without a care in the world. And I thought to myself, well, what am I going to do with this message? And how am I going to make this message work? How am I going to make this question prick someone's heart so that people will receive it like I'm saying it? And I mean, I pondered, and it wasn't until he gave me confirmation, just like the God I serve. He answered in a way that was crystal clear of what he wanted me to say this morning. And let me say this, you never know where your help is going to come from. And I told you all before that anytime someone needs prayer in the hospital, I don't care who it is, whether it is a patient, a doctor, it doesn't matter. I will stop whatever it is I'm doing and pray. And that's what happened this week. A young lady needed prayer, never had surgery, was scared. So one of the other workers knew that I was their prayer warrior. So I came over and talked to her. And I ended up crying harder than she was. But anyway, I still prayed for her. So let me tell you, and it was my encounter with her that was my confirmation for this message. So the title of the message is, how did you sleep last night? That's the question. Hey, Shane, how did you sleep last night? Now, I need everybody on here to put this question in the chat for me. Now, listen, before you log off or before you keep scrolling thinking this doesn't apply to you, let me make it make sense. I asked this question not because I really want to know how you slept. Not at all. But I asked this question in order to make my point. By now, you all know that I work in the operating room. I work with all types of people who come from all walks of life, much like most of you, which means every day, every day. They bring with them their good or bad ideas, their biases, and their way of handling conflict based on how they learned from their own families. And worst of all, they bring their unaddressed trauma to work with them every day God sends. So I'm going to say that again. Not only do they bring their biases, their prejudices, their good and bad ideas, their way of handling conflict, and sometimes their way of handling conflict is pure lunacy, but that's how they learn. But the worst thing they bring is their unaddressed trauma. And, you know, I was a psych nurse for the first 11 years of my nursing career. And I'm telling you, that was the base. That was the base for me working in any field because I use it constantly. And let me tell you, dealing with this on a daily can be exhausting, draining, and nerve-wracking all at the same time. Now, hear me with your good ear. If I would ask some of my coworkers who go off the deep end from time to time, what the heck is wrong with you? They would become offended and probably report me to the manager. And trust me, when they run and tell the story, it will be diluted and benign, where they are misunderstood and the victim. They will give you the version where they didn't do anything wrong. The version of the story where all they did was ask a simple question. And yes, they may have asked a question, but their delivery, and I done told y'all before, it's your delivery that makes the difference. It's my delivery. I know my delivery has been off, but I've been trying to work on my delivery a lot. So, but their delivery was in such a way that the question came off more as an indictment or an accusation than a simple trying to get an answer. And you know what's sad? They really believe they are the victims. But here's the rub. We work in a place where people depend on us to be calm, cool, and collected while we take care of them and their families. Not for them to enter into an operating room where just 10 minutes earlier, the staff were at each other's throat. They just want to be put to sleep while praying that they will wake up and see their families again. Because once in the operating room, they realize they are no longer in control, which for many people is a big deal. But they realize it's the surgeon, the anesthesiologist, the surgical assistant, and the nurse who are now in control. How do you think they would feel if they knew just 10 minutes before they entered into the room, the people working in there just got into it with each other, tempers were flying, attitudes were on 10, and their focus had been broken? My question to you and your coworkers is this: how did you sleep last night? Now think about how our patients slept last night. And let me throw this one in for free. Do you even care how they slept last night? What if it was your family on the table? What kind of atmosphere would you want in the room? Now listen, this doesn't just apply to the medical field. And I'm coming at your throats today. I'm at your throat. Come in here, all my educators, all my teachers, all my school counselors, and all my coaches. Come in here. How did you sleep last night? Now, how do you think your students and players slept last night? I bet you a dime to a donut, you slept better than some of your students. Because we all know there are kids who come to school every day after being cussed out by an angry parent who took their frustrations out on them first thing in the morning. And if any of you on this live, watching it now or listening to it later, do this to your kids, please stop. Please stop getting up, cussing them out in the morning and sending them to school and thinking they can handle it. Because kids are not equipped to process this and compartmentalize it when they get to school. So you know what they do? They take it out on the teachers and the other students. And in this selfish world that we live in, people won't take time to see what's really going on with their kids. Why are they acting like that? School hasn't even started yet. What's wrong with them? They just label them and keep on pushing. How did you sleep last night? See, we all know there are kids who come to school early to make sure they can eat breakfast since they haven't had anything to eat since they left school the day before. How many of you can say that? How many of you on this live can raise your hand and say, once I left work and ate my lunch at work, I didn't have nothing else to eat when I got home until I got back to work? You can't. And I'm looking at the people on here and not narrowing one of y'all. But we have kids that come to school, and we know have kids that come to school every day that haven't had a meal, a morsel of food since they left school yesterday. Teachers, administrators, counselors, coaches. How did you sleep last night? We all know there are kids who come to school that are being abused in their home and just looking for a safe space. They are too afraid to tell for fear of not being protected by us and being sent back into the lion's den. How did you sleep last night? We all know there are kids getting picked on because of their family background, because of the way they dress, because of the area of town they live in, because people know their family history. People know they don't have no money. People know they're on the welfare. People know that they're poor. So they get picked on. Now, mind you, all kids are poor. It's the parents that have money. And we had to tell our kids that a long time ago. Y'all don't have no money. We got money. So we choose to give y'all money. So don't think you're better than nobody else because we're able to give you more. But y'all don't have no money. Come in here, parents, guardians, and caregivers. Let me talk to you. How did you sleep last night? Now, how do you think your child slept last night? Your child that's being bullied at school, but no one's paying attention. Your child that feels they don't measure up to your expectations, which sometimes are ludicrous because you expect the world from them and you ain't did nothing. But that's another message. Your child that is suffering from self-esteem and body image issues. How you think they slept last night while you were sleeping? Your child that is a few minutes, just a few moments from wanting to commit suicide. How did you sleep last night? Parents, guardians, caregivers. Some of us get in the bed without a care in the world. We think because I'm good, the rest of the world should be good. But again, hear me with your good ear. Before you went to sleep last night, did you help your child with their homework, or did you stay on social media, or did you stay on the phone gossiping about nothing? Before you went to sleep last night, did you even talk to your child, look at your child to see what's going on? A parent should be able to look at their child and tell something's wrong, especially these little ones, these kids that are getting bullied. I can't even believe that we're still dealing with bullies, but we are. Did you even look at your child? Did you talk to your child to see what's going on? Before you went to sleep last night, did you call and check on your people? And your people could be anybody. Grandparents, parents you ain't talked to, siblings you ain't talked to, friends you ain't talked to, people that you usually sit with on the church pew that you ain't seen in a couple Sundays. Did you call and check on them? Nothing is really secret, so everybody knows that something is going on with some people. And they might not come out and say it, But you can just send a text. Did you check on your people before you went to sleep last night? Before you went to sleep last night, did you pray for that crazy acting coworker that they would get some help and see the error of their ways? Did you pray that somebody will reach out to them or they'll reach out to somebody else to get some help? I know it's easy for us to put them all in the same pile and be like, I'm not getting ready to deal with this. But you know what? They work with us. They go to school with us. They come to church with us. There's a reason why people act the way they do. And a lot of times it's a cry for help. They just don't know how to help. They weren't raised in a family that they could talk. They weren't raised in a family where they could go somewhere and tell the parent, Mom, I'm having this problem, I need to talk to you. Dad, I'm having this problem, I need to talk to you. Before you went to sleep last night, did you pray for your church? Now, I know not everybody goes to church, but all y'all on here do, because I see you. But for those that go to church, and I don't care if you go to a mega church or a church with 5 members like we used to have, did you pray for your church? Did you pray for your church family? Did you pray for your pastor and his family? Y'all see what's going on in this world. Y'all see that people are being exposed. Y'all see that, and the thing about these people, and I'm off script. The thing about these people being exposed, these leaders and preachers and pastors that are well known. I don't care nothing about P. Diddy, I promise you. But these people that are being exposed, these people that have been in contact with certain people and now they're guilty by association or birds of a feather flock together. These people are leaders, and you have many thousands of people that look up to them. And so whatever they do, if proven true, is not just going to affect them and their family. Not that they care whether it affects anybody else, but it's not just going to affect them and their family. It's going to affect hundreds, maybe millions of people that thought, oh, there is a true one. Oh, there are some real ones. And trust me, there are real pastors out here doing the work, male and female. There are real leaders out here doing the work. But the enemy don't want that. He wants to try to expose people, make people look bad. And even when it's proven that it never happened, it's not going to get the same splash as the original. It's not going to get the same splash. It's going to be buried somewhere in behind something. So before you went to sleep last night, did you pray for the crazy world we live in and ask God to come and intervene? I thought that 3 years ago when COVID, now 4, when COVID came out of nowhere and millions didn't make it, but everybody on this live did. And we should thank God every day, but millions didn't make it. I thought, well, that's our wake-up call. God been trying to get our attention. Now he has it. But just like we do, just like ungrateful people do, just like entitled people do, now that all the danger is gone and you don't see the numbers of death, and they're still happening, but you don't see the numbers like they were of people dying from COVID and so we're just back to what we were before. We don't care about nothing. We don't care about nobody. I have the right to do whatever I want. No, you don't. But okay. Hey, Dr. Holly. So, before you went to sleep last night, I started out by saying, did you check on your kids? Did you look at them? Did you talk to them? And if you are not a parent that can talk to your child, get some help and find out how to approach them. Trust me, they want to know that somebody is looking out for them. They want to know that you care, parent. Please stop cussing them kids out and sending them to school. Go get the person you really mad at. Go find out where he stayed last night. Go find out who she was texting all night. It wasn't your child that did it. So stop being a coward and jumping on the kids first thing in the morning. It can't be that deep. The sun ain't even up yet. And then you send the kids to school and they don't know how to handle it. So then they show out in school because they don't know how else to get somebody's attention. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I just know that we go to sleep thinking, whatever, we don't care. And I told y'all, for the ones that hopped on late, I work in the OR. People, we do the job every day. So we know we're going to put them to sleep. God willing, they're going to wake back up. We're going to do the surgery. And we move on to it like an assembly line. We move on to the next person. But for that person, it's them. It's one person. They don't care about who was in the room before them and who coming after them. All they know is they're in the room. And they hope, they're praying that the people in the room know what they're doing and going to take care of them. But us feeble humans come to work, and when I slept all night, we get up mad. How you come to work and it's 6:30 and you mad? It wasn't us, but you bring that to work. Think about the people on the table. What if that was your mama, your grandmama, your brother, your child on the table? How'd you sleep last night? Do you pray that when I go to work tomorrow, everything's going to be good? Do you pray that I'm still having a job? Teachers, when you go to bed at night and you tired, you mad, you did all the homework and all that stuff, do you pray for your kids? Especially educators and in the school. You got kids coming and bringing guns and stuff to school because they don't know how to handle being bullied. You ought to pray for the safety of your school if you don't pray for nothing else. Pray for your kids. Church members, pray for your pastor. Pray for the security at your church. Whoever thought that we'd be there. Pray for the security. Pray for the mind of the people that want to come in and hurt people at church just so they can make the news. I try not to think about it, but if it happened at another church, it could very easily happen at your church. Pray for your church family. You don't know you don't know what somebody went through last night to make it to church. And you know your pastor tell you this all the time. You don't know what it took to get up and come to church. Because we have people that reach out to him and say, I came to church and I told God if I don't get a word, I'm going home and I'm going to take them pills and I'm not going to wake up. You know the heaviness that's on his heart and on other pastors, not just him, all you pastors, y'all got the heaviness of the people on you, on top of worrying about your family, on top of worrying about everything else. So really everything else is nonsense. So how'd you sleep last night? And I want you to remember this. I want you to remember this question when you go to bed tonight. And you ain't got to get on your knees and do all the things. All you have to do is pray. Lord, touch. Lord, help. Lord, heal. Lord, please. He can hear you. Whatever your posture, he can hear you. But stop being so selfish and going to sleep and then worry about nobody but yourself. Because it's all fun and games. Being selfish and self-centered and entitled until it's you on the line or until it's one of your family members. You pray for these young black men getting gunned down. You pray for these young girls that are prey. You pray for all these missing kids. It's not your child. By the grace of God, your child is still with you. How'd you sleep last night? You educators, when you go to school tomorrow and you see that child and just got off the school bus and they already mad, pull them in, look them in their face and find out what's wrong with them. And don't say, what's wrong with you? Therapists now say, you should say, what happened to you? Because as soon as you say what's wrong, they think something is wrong with them. So even your coworkers, even your family members, your husband, your wife, when you, instead of saying, what's wrong with you now? Say, what happened to you? Come from a place of compassion. What happened to you? Yes, Dr. Holly, we have to pray for one another. Prayer changes things. I don't know if y'all believe that, but I know for a fact that it does. So I'm going to get off, but I ask that you would share this with anybody you think. Just share it on your page. The question is, how did you sleep last night? Yes, Sister Patty, you don't know the person sitting next to you. You don't know what they're going through. The young lady that I prayed for, by the time she finished talking about her situation, I'm like, how you still standing? How you still sitting? How you still got your head right? You just don't know. Just because everything is good in your life, just because everything is calm in the storm, we're in one of three places. We either just come out of a storm, we're in the middle of a storm, or we headed into the storm. And it may take us some time before we head into the storm. But those are the three places we find ourselves. You just come out of a storm. You in the storm and you need some help to get out, or you heading into one. So as you guys go on your day to day, as you guys enjoy the Super Bowl, enjoy all your time, before you go to bed, remember this question: how did you sleep last night? And then think about the people that you come in contact every day. How did they sleep? How you think they slept last night? Do you care? That's a good question too. Do you even care how anybody else slept last night, as long as you got yours? So I pray that this pricked somebody's heart. I pray for you guys all the time. I thank you for your support. And I will see you all next week. Have a blessed week. God willing, we'll be back on here next week. Bye.